It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 4th day of August, 2022. Main story today is permanent cutbacks by Carnival. We're going to talk about that. And today, by the way, folks, this is a big holiday for me, for the old fat guy. This is National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. Yeah. I'll give you 3 guesses what I'm going to do today, and the first 2 don't count. All right. Headlines today, other than permanent cutbacks by Carnival, you got an update on the new Galveston Royal Caribbean Terminal. Quantum of the Seas has some more itinerary changes. New England Port moving to cap cruise visits, and much more live here at 11. Before we get to the news, let me jump over here to the chat room for a second. Hot Air Tom, hi Hot Air Tom. Can you guys hear me okay? Because just 2 minutes ago, my webcam, which was my phone, went out. I don't know if it was something with the program or not, but I want to make sure you guys can hear me. Hi, Chillie and everyone. Hi, Sonny. Somebody stick a yes or a no. Your volume is a bit high. My volume is a bit high. Okay. So, try to adjust that. Yes, we can hear you. Okay, so everybody can hear me okay, so I'll get back to, sorry about that, folks. Never can tell with me when something weird's going to happen like that. Okay. If you're listening via the podcast, welcome aboard, of course. You can always access my podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Amazon. Yeah, I mean, it's any place. All the big guys, they all have it. I just search for travel and cruise industry news, and you'll get the old fat travel guy. So, with a lot of craziness going on this morning, I did not have the chance to get some pictures from any of our family that's out cruising right now, especially Rochelle over there in Greece. I will take care of that for tomorrow. I had a bit of some not personal issues this morning. Amanda needed my help today, my niece, and I had to run her around all over town here early this morning. I got back in time to do the show okay, but it was a little bit of a stressful morning today, but all worked out well. I do have my pulmonologist. Did call and set an appointment with me for when I get back from Symphony of the Seas. And again, just so you'll know, September 8th and 9th will be abbreviated shows, but will be done on the fly, on the road, as I head from here to Miami to sail on, which will actually be my birthday cruise. I'm going to call it that, at least, on Symphony of the Seas on September the 10th. I will get back home about the 19th. And then on the 23rd of September is going to be another day that the show will be pre-recorded, as I'll be in the pulmonologist office at 11 o'clock. And I could not, it was going to be like December for me to see them if I didn't take that appointment. So with my breathing issues, I definitely need to see him before December. So, all right, guys, I'll be back with today's news after a word from one of our network sponsors. Okay, the top story today, of course, has to deal with Carnival. Carnival Cruise Line has announced some permanent changes to onboard dining venues across the fleet. Many of these changes, which have been in place for some time, were due to crew staffing shortages. They seemingly have that worked out now. And they will not have dramatic impact on guest experiences. Others of these changes will flat out be missed. Effective August the 1st, that was 3 days ago, Carnival is cutting back on a wide range of dining services, venues, and operating times. And here are the highlights of the changes as I have them. Carnival cruise ships will no longer have a 24-hour pizzeria. Instead, the Pizza Pirate or Pizzeria del Capitano, depending on the ship, will operate from 9 a.m. to 4 a.m. No pizza from 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. For most of us, that's not a massive change. There will be no more late night snacks in the Lido restaurant. That's the buffet, of course. But you will be able to get Pizza Plus options instead. This includes the late night pizza as well as pasta, Caesar salad, and sandwich options from the pizzeria. The popular Sea Day brunch is shortened by an hour. There will be no more light snack menu on Ocean Plaza, which is a fixture on 7 Carnival ships: the Breeze, the Dream, the Horizon, Magic Panorama, and Sunshine and Vista. Okay, no more light snack menu in Ocean Plaza on those 7 ships. Here's one across the fleet. Room service door hanger menus will no longer be available. You know, you used to be able to put your breakfast on a door hanger and hang it out, and it would be served in the morning, or a pot of coffee or whatever you ordered, then it would be at your door. No more. You got to pick up the phone and dial room service and give them the order via the phone. You still get room service. You just can't there will be no more door hanger menus. Complimentary occasion cakes like birthdays, anniversaries, those kind of things that they used to, come and sing awful songs in the main dining room, no longer. Instead, they're going to give you a candle and still sing the horrible songs probably in the main dining room, but stick a candle in your dessert. Possibly returning soon. So these are positive things. The chocolate extravaganza buffet and afternoon tea time. Now, of course, the tea time, that's just going to be mainly for you guys from over on the other side of the pond that come over here and sail on Carnival ships, because we still don't drink tea at tea time over here. Sorry. Recently opened with Chef's Table, of course, and Cucina del Capitano, which is now available on 9 of the ships: the Breeze, Horizon, Magic, Panorama, Radiance, Sunrise, Sunshine, Vista, and Mardi Gras. Those were just recently opened. Carnival is also doing away with the hairy chest contests. My apologies. I'm sorry, Jason, that you're going to miss out on the hairy chest contest and on pizza after 4 a.m. All right, that's the latest from Carnival. Down in Galveston, I saw this under construction when I was down there, but they had it didn't look like it looks now. We're getting close to completion on this thing. Royal Caribbean shared a progress report that the company made on its $126 million terminal in Galveston The building is due to be finished in November of this year, and it's now in the final stages of construction. The terminal building will be the home to the Oasis-class Allure of the Seas, significantly increasing Royal Caribbean's capacity from Galveston. It will be one of the most technologically advanced cruise terminals in the United States. Mobile check-in, facial recognition software will enhance boarding and disembarking at the terminal. Starting on November the 13th, the 5,400 passenger Allure of the Seas and the passengers will be sailing on a series of 7-night Western Caribbean cruises to ports like Roatan, Costa Maya, and Cozumel. Now, Allure of the Seas is not going to be the only ship in Galveston. She'll be joined there by Adventure of the Seas from the end of November of this year on. Adventure of the Seas will also be sailing the Western Caribbean, operating 4- and 5-night cruises to Cozumel and Costa Maya. Radiance of the Seas will be the third ship that will operate from Galveston, sailing on 9- and 10-night voyages to the Western Caribbean, starting in January of 2023. Port calls includes Progreso, Cartagena in Colombia, Colón in Panama, and Cozumel in Mexico. So the 3 ships there, 2 of the 3 I've not been on. I'm going to have to schedule another drive to Galveston. I can see that in the works for next year already. Quantum of the Seas, man, I loved it when I was on it. But then it developed some engine issues. And quite frankly, I'm glad I'm not on it now for Alaska, because it's missing out on, one of the main days when you go to the glaciers. Due to ongoing engine issues, Royal Caribbean has altered the remainder of the itineraries for Quantum of the Seas for the remainder of Alaska season. Changes including dropping scenic glacier sailing days, replacing ports of call, altering port times to accommodate the vessel's slower speeds. Previously, they had made changes on August the 1st, 8th, and 15th sailings. Now, the same impacted itinerary, the same changes will be on new impacted itineraries of August 22nd and 29th, September 5, 12, 19, and 26th. So the remaining 6 sailings of the Alaska sailing season have now had all those changes done to them as well. Quantum of the Seas is offering 7-night round-trip Alaska sailings from Seattle, and they have 2 different itineraries. Depending on the itinerary of each sailing date, scenic cruisings for Endicap Arm and Dawes Glacier is being removed. The port time in Juneau is slightly extended. Alternatively, sailings slated to visit Icy Strait Point will now visit Ketchikan instead. The amount of credit varies based on the stateroom, with $75 for interior and ocean views, $100 for balconies, $200 for suites. These amounts are stateroom inclusive, not per guest, and are refundable. Any unused amount remaining at the end of the cruise will be returned to the guest card on file. After finishing the Alaska season, Quantum is scheduled for a one-way voyage to Hawaii, then another one-way sailing from Hawaii to Australia, where she will begin the Down Under summer season from Brisbane. There's been no announcement on any alterations to either of those post-Alaska itineraries. So who knows what's going to happen with that, folks. All right, my last story this morning has to do with our friends up in Bar Harbor, Bar Harbor, Maine. New England port of call for the popular destinations for fall foliage cruises is one of the most popular is, of course, Bar Harbor, one of the region's most vibrant ports. And they're seeking to cap cruise ship visits and the number of visitors each day. In a town council meeting on August the 2nd, that would have been, today's Thursday, that would have been Tuesday night. Authorities in Bar Harbor, Maine heard two plans for cruise limitations and are moving forward with both for further consideration. Each proposed plan caps the total number of cruise ship visitors permitted in Bar Harbor each day, with variations for busier parts of the season. One plan, suggested by a local resident, proposes a very strict limit of 1,000 passengers per day debarking from cruise ships. Busy fall days currently see 6,000 or more. A second plan that was drafted by the Bar Harbor town manager incorporates higher visitor limits that vary in different months. Under the manager's proposal, daily and monthly visitor caps would be instituted with no visits at all permitted in April or November. None. Both those months have very low cruise ship visits anyway, and therefore have very little impact on the cruise community. July and August would permit 3,500 cruise passengers per day, with no more than 40,000 for the entire month. In other words, no more than, if you're hitting your maximum 35 per day, you can have ships in there 12 days a month. That's it. Spring visitors in May and June would be capped at 3,800 per day, total of 30,000 per month. During the height of the fall foliage season in September, October, the daily visitor total would also not be able to exceed 3,800, but the monthly cap is raised to 65,000. No more than 3 ships per day would be permitted at any time. So legal authorities have to be consulted to see which plan is most viable and how they could legally be implemented. At the moment, Bar Harbor already has cruise visitor limits of 3,500 per day in the summer, 5,500 during the early and late parts of the cruise season. The town itself has a population of just over 5,000 residents. The strict limits and passenger reductions are successfully implemented in Bar Harbor. Many cruise ships from the largest line may not be able to call on the port at all, and their passenger capacities, since their passenger capacities already exceed those limits. Any of the larger ships that could go in there can't. They have more passengers than are allowed for the day. This could mean that cruise lines begin to bypass Bar Harbor altogether. Let's take example Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean makes arrangements with other ports so they can take the larger ships and pulls all their ships out of Bar Harbor. That could really hurt Bar Harbor. And a lot of these people, I don't think, are really considering the economic benefit that they're going to lose out on. You know, the cruise lines have other things they could do. They could go to Portland. They could go to destinations in Canada, you know, like New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, Halifax and St. John. I don't know. I find it distressing that you've got another political arm in a port of call that's going to start fighting the cruise lines. Oh, well, and it's going to cause problems in the long run. All right, that's it for the news for today. Let's jump over and see who's with us in the chat room. Hot Air Tom's here. Hi, Hot Air Tom. Oh, there was an article yesterday saying a rock slide in Skagway affected the Encore. Weird thing was they said Encore has no tenders and a Holland American ship provided transfer. I did not see that, Tom, in my sources. But then again, I didn't spend as much time researching today as normal. But I did not see, and this is a new rock slide. This is not, we're not going back to the rock slide of last week, because there were, we did have an article about the rock slide and the second closing of part of the dock in Skagway. Sonny's with us. Hi, Sonny. My volume was high. Had to turn down the TV volume. Sorry about that. We can hear you. My TWB friend from New York just got off Carnival ship yesterday. Wife is coughing. All three tested positive. Now, sorry to hear that. Yeah, on the same token, I had some friends of mine that just got off a ship in Europe, and all four of them came back positive. I just got bad news this morning. My son just got tested positive out in Louisville. They were coming this weekend, so they had to cancel their trip. Change in protocols will come back to bite the cruise lines. What will happen when an unvaxxed passenger dies? Interesting question, Tom. Again, I'm not in favor of changing vaccination policies. I hope they stick with them. Of course, I don't mind the pre-cruise testing, but other people have objected to that. So, Carol's with us. Good morning, Carol. Hi, Carol. I think I'm in Canada. Chillie's Cruises dress code for a birthday cruise is the birthday suit, blackout sunglasses for all. No. That's dead, Hot Air. You do naked birthdays. I quit doing naked birthdays a long time ago. I don't even go skinny. Yeah, I do too. I do go skinny dipping in my pool sometimes, but nobody's here. Good point on the passenger death. Yeah, that is an interesting point. What are they going to do when that happens? Cindy says the late night stacks are a pain for me because the pizza line are already too long, and I love Ocean Plaza on Horizon. That stinks. Was a great place to get a quick breakfast. Yeah, and that's going to be breakfast and lunch are affected. I think they're going to still be open at other times, but the breakfast and lunch hours are now completely dead, I think is what's going to happen on that one. Kenneth's with us. Hi, Kenneth's up in Pennsylvania. Very disappointed with Carnival. The Sea Day brunch on Conquest was not very good last time, and the birthday cakes had to be paid for from cherry on top. Anyway, were not included on our last sailings. Yeah, some of these changes have been made recently, kind of test the waters before they do it wide all the way around. I will correct one thing, Cindy, that I did find out, and that after I finally got checked in on NCL, the Wi-Fi, when I actually went to buy it, because I did have Wi-Fi on the free at sea package that I had chosen, I did not choose the drinks package. I did Wi-Fi because that was the important one. And I did a couple specialty restaurants. I had the 2 options. Mainly because I knew the drinks packages. I don't care the drinks packages. I'm not going to spend that kind of money for booze. I do much better doing it a la carte. But anyway, with getting the 250-minute deal, which is what it was 250 minutes of Wi-Fi. My step up to the best package they have was like $138 for the 7 days. So that wasn't bad. That's actually less than I paid on most of my cruises for 7 days of, of the streaming Wi-Fi. Sonny says, I sent Norwegian rep a cost saving he can offer up. I don't need the mailers that any cruise line sends me. They can save money that way. Yeah, anymore, I don't either. They go in the trash. I don't even look at them anymore because I get all of my stuff online. So they could save some money with that. I agree with you, Sonny. Nikki's with us. She says, good morning to everybody. Lizzie Lou's here. That terminal looks great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that when it's, we're getting near completion. They're working on the finishing touches outside. Inside, they've got the all the air conditioning and all that stuff is up and running. They've got all the IT stuff in place. So, it's now it's just cleaning it up and getting it ready. So we're not long till that'll be rolling. So I'm looking forward to going back to Galveston. I did Adventure of the Seas out of Galveston earlier this year. I got a feeling there's going to be a trip to Galveston again when maybe if I can figure out a time frame to do both. Cruises back to back there. That would be cool. If the people will keep my car that long, if I'm doing a 9 day, say, and a 7 day, 16 days, that would be nice. That would be worth driving to Texas for. I'm keeping the Carnival cruises I have booked because I either got 50% deals on Havana Cabanas or Cheers offers, but not booking any others right now. Don't blame me on that, Cindy. And I, quite frankly, again, because I know I can get Carnival bargains. Now, I don't know if I can get a bargain and still be able to get a handicap accessible room. That one I haven't tried yet when I'm looking for a bargain from Carnival. Did run into some issues with Royal Caribbean on that. But we'll test that out when I find a good bargain that hits my schedule and see if I can book it and get an accessible cabin with the bargain. I'll continue booking with them because all of those changes don't mean that much to me. I'm still going to primarily eat in the main dining room. And I'm going to, my breakfast primarily is going to be in the buffet. I like the buffet breakfast for breakfast. I may go 1 day a week to the main dining room for breakfast on a week cruise. Sometimes I don't even do the sea day brunch because I don't want to get in the mob. So I just, hit my buffet. If it's whatever time it opens, if it's 6 or if it's 7, different ships do different things. So yeah, I'll still bargain shop with Carnival unless I have something specific like, I've got one cruise that I booked with Jason. I don't know, next year sometime. Just because I wanted to make sure I got on a cruise with him. on Carnival Freedom, I think maybe. I can't remember without looking at my schedule. Nikki says, Hot Air, are you talking about Kirk and his family testing positive? Sonny, I would promote a return to the process for testing that NCL used to have with testing at the port day of departure, even if you had to bring the self-test and buy one in the port. That would be the maximum benefit to weed out any known positives. I have to think about that one, Hot Air. I don't mind. You know, I got a whole box of them under here. I do not mind these little puppies at all. And by the way, folks, if I flip the camera, you couldn't read this. So it would be backwards if I flip the camera. So this is the way the camera is supposed to be. So you can read it. I don't mind these things. Yeah, they're expensive because you're paying for the proctor. Test itself is peanuts. You're paying for the proctor. I got no problem with that. I got no problem with taking a few minutes to do it. I'm not sure changing it from 2 days to 3 days is going to make all that much difference, one way or the other. But I don't mind at all having it on my phone. I have to show them my boarding pass anyway, so I just have 2 things to show them instead of 1. I mean, even as technologically unsound as I am, I can do that. Bar Harbor was pretty busy just on the 2 days I was there on Pearl. Pearl was in the low 2000s count. Yep. Les Cindy, who stayed on the ship both trips. Funny how the Bar Harbor ship anchors behind an island so that it isn't seen from the port. Bar Harbor was very busy from land travelers. Bumper to bumper cars parked around Arcadia Park. Yeah, that's a massively important United States park. Skagway dock no longer safe. Wonder what they'll do. Chillie's Cruises, tell Jason I want to see the COVID test. Make sure he is not canceling for another reason. Oh, yeah, my son Jason. I thought you were talking about Pittsburgh Jason. I was thinking, what's he canceling for? Yeah, no, he's not canceling for another reason because the grandkids both wanted to see Grandpa because they hadn't seen him all year, and they know he's been sick, and they know he's going through chemo again. So they were the ones that put Jason up to coming for this one. But yeah, he is sick. I've known about it a couple of days. 2 times he tested negative, but was still hacking and coughing last night, and got up this morning and did the test, and he's positive. So glad you got the Wi-Fi situation straightened out. Yeah, me too. Yeah. I did not remember when I booked it that I had any free at sea thing. Now, once they brought that back to my attention, because that's how long ago I booked it. And I booked, I don't know, 12 or 13 other cruises since then. But yeah, I had 2 Wi-Fi things. I could choose the 2 that I did, or the something to do with the drinks package. And even then, my thought was, no, I'll just pay for drinks. Hot Air Tom, me too. Testing on departure day was good for me, even if I have to pay for it, but not $100, hopefully. Hope they go back to that. Yeah, I suppose if the rate's not ridiculous. I wouldn't have problem with that either. The only problem was the extra time it takes getting everybody through the terminal. It's much quicker when you can just flash them the thing and not have to be tested there. Hot Air's a bit paranoid with NCL messing up things. I check my cruises several times a week to make sure they have not changed things. That's probably a good sign. Hot Air says, I just saw that our visit to Great Stirrup Cay will be joined by the NCL Joy. Chillie's Cruises, remember, we have a premier cabana booked. Hope you can join us there. Tender ride for Chillie. Yeah, and that's gonna be determined by actually two things. The last time I was at Great Stirrup Cay, the ship, I can't even remember what ship I was on, but they could not take the tender. They didn't have a tender that would take the scooters. Now, that does not mean that the tenders now, that's, they're staying accessible. Well, let's see. I got to be able to get my scooter in. I probably won't even know that for sure until I get on board and talk to the excursion desk. But yeah, I'm planning on coming to visit you in the cabana, assuming that I can get away from sand. If there is walkways reasonably close to the cabana. That's the other thing. I can't take the scooter on sand. It'll sink with not bad pants. But anyway, we'll see. Yeah, I have that in my notes, Hot Air. And also that you're going to make me drink rum. Look, no, I like rum. I just don't like it like as much as I like bourbon. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. If you're new to this channel, welcome aboard. We do this every day at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And by the way, folks, I'm a little bit behind on promoting it, but there will be a Cruise Amigos this afternoon at 2 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, 1 o'clock Central Daylight Time, and 7 o'clock BST, British Summertime. Cruise Amigos today, live. And we're going to chat about all sorts of things, I hope. So, who knows? Never have anything planned. All right, guys. I'll see everybody this afternoon for Cruise Amigos. I'll see everybody back here tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. For today, this is the old fat travel guy. Stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.